Well, it's been 2 months since our last check-in, and we have one major update in the studio. You can see that. Just another day in the life. That was a warm-up right there. Magic shoot. Honestly, not bad. You're getting a double whammy this video because if you didn't notice, I didn't release a monthly check-in video last month, which is a lot of what we're talking about today, why I didn't do that. If you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Hannah Bowers. I am a singer-songwriter and coach for creative people, and this is a channel where I talk about my creative projects, my creative growth, and the wisdom that I have learned about the unique path of being an independent artist. Now, when I say independent artist, I don't necessarily mean an independent music artist. I mean an artist that supports themselves and reports to no label, organization, or larger entity other than myself, which is a lot of us. My update this month is a little meta because it includes the wisdom that I learned about the creative project that is this YouTube video. Within that, the themes of patience and trust and not forcing it. I could have sat myself down numerous times to create a video, edit it, and put it out because that was the goal that I set for myself, do one video a month. But I didn't choose that because I was choosing the path that felt better, which for me, that path has been about prioritizing experience over accomplishment. I turned 28 at the beginning of April, and that was the intention that I set for myself for this year, choosing experience over accomplishment. Because I've made so much of my life about accomplishment. I have always been this high achieving type since I was a child. I wanted to do the most and do the best and accomplish all the things and check off all the tasks and do all the assignments and complete all the goals. And all of that is really helpful and comes in handy for a lot of different things. It's a skill that sometimes is appropriate and very helpful. But at the point that I'm at in my life now, I think I'm done trying to accomplish so much and just ready to experience life, not through the lens of productivity. I talk about this idea a lot because it's been very relevant for me and the theme of a lot of conversations that I had with a former therapist of mine, but something that I see in a lot of other creative people as well, and in all humans as well. This idea that you have heard before, that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So for creatives and artists, it's not about the end result of your artistic project and the release and getting it done, but it's about enjoying that process of making it and pursuing it. So what have I been doing in the past 2 months if I haven't been focused on accomplishment? I released the season 2 premiere of the PAL podcast with my friend, independent artist Andrew Barrick, which you can hear anywhere you listen to podcasts. I played my first show in over 6 months, shout out local Deadbeat Agency. I performed a whole choreographed dance for my artist friend, shout out Grace K. I've never danced before, not a dancer. Somehow I got into this experience. I laid down some awesome vocal parts and harmonies for a new artist friend that I met based in New England. Shout out Sage Hatfield. And I started a vegetable garden with my girlfriend. And you might be listening to that and saying, Hannah, what are you talking about? That is clearly a lot of accomplishments. Are you a hypocrite? Are you a liar? What do you mean? And yes, you're right. Those are a lot of accomplishments, but it was about the intention that drove those things. It wasn't about crossing another thing off a to-do list or accomplishing another goal in productivity. It was about the experience that I was choosing in having them, which really was about having a good time and enjoying myself, feeling like I was following the things that I wanted to do rather than following the things that I felt like I had to do. Because I could look at this time period and say, I want more, that I didn't do enough, because I have other unaccomplished goals and things that aren't done. And I can look at that 2-month period and be like, why didn't you make a YouTube video? Why didn't you promote your music? Why didn't you release a song or play another show? Why didn't you do all of these things that you want to do? But when I focus on all of those things that I don't have or that I haven't done yet, it drains me. And then I don't have the motivation to work towards those goals. But if I prioritize enjoying the ride there and enjoying the experience that I'm having every single day, taking it day by day, then I feel better. And that's the goal that I prioritized. I just want to feel good every day. I don't care what I accomplish. I don't care what the end result is. I just want to feel good doing it. That was my goal. That was my priority. So that's what I focused on. And I know if I prioritize different goals and different values, that I could accomplish that. If I truly wanted a #1 record, for example, which that would be awesome. Then I would put the time and energy required into making that happen. But for me, that would mean saying no to all of my other passions and all of the other things that I want to do, just to prioritize that one goal. And a few years ago, a piece of wisdom that I learned from myself was my greatest goals are based in what I want to feel versus what I want to accomplish. And then hopefully those things line up. If I keep pursuing feeling good every day, then I will have accomplishments that I feel good about. Like the examples that I gave of what I've done in the past 2 months. I chose feeling good and I accomplished some pretty cool things. I didn't accomplish everything, but I feel really good about how I felt and what I did accomplish with that. If you remember the video that I created at the top of 2023, I decided that I wanted to create a reality of joy, beauty, love, and abundance. So those were the 4 things that I built my reality and my goals and my everyday experience around. That's the life that I decided that I wanted to have, and I've been living it. And the past 2 months are an example of what it looks like when I commit to living that reality that I choose. So as my 2-month check-in from last time, I'd say I'm off to a pretty good start. But it doesn't look like how I thought it would, because I did have that goal of releasing 1 YouTube video a month, 1 podcast a month, collaborating and releasing more music. And that's okay, because sometimes we have to destroy the idea of what we think success and we think that accomplishment and our ideal life is supposed to look for how it actually feels to show up for that life every single day. What if I set other goals and priorities for myself and then the actual experience of them every day didn't feel good? I'm not gonna sacrifice how I feel just for those goals. Maybe I need to adapt and give myself different goals that are gonna help me feel better and feel like I'm creating a more sustainable path towards the life that I want. So I wanna spin it back to you guys and ask you some questions to reflect on for your own creative path. What does the path towards your goals look like? What are you going to prioritize on the way there, and what are you willing to sacrifice? For example, the goal that I have is to build my community. I wanna prioritize my well-being. I'm not willing to sacrifice that. I'm going to make sure that I spend ample time on meditation and exercise and yoga and nature. What I am willing to sacrifice is this idea of time and getting it done really, really quickly. So that's my trade-off. Maybe it'll take me a little bit longer to build this community that I'm going towards, but I'm going to feel really good along the way of doing it. And for me, that's kind of what matters most, the everyday experience of my life. But honestly, when I choose that, I feel like I have the potential for my community to actually be stronger in the end. For example, I could spend a lot of time focusing on building a social media following and creating a bunch of TikToks and Reels and really working at that every single day. So I would need to set aside the proper time to work on that. But for me, I'm very intentional with how I spend my time. I have my work time, my relaxed time, my creative time, my me time, self-care time, socialization time. I have all my hours accounted for. So if I take away some of that time and I focus it on my social media, I know that I'm probably not going to feel as good. And if I'm not going to feel as good, I'm not gonna show up as fully and as authentically as I would like to. So there's another priority, my authenticity. I need to be able to show up as my full authentic self every single day. And that's me prioritizing experience, the experience of feeling and being and expressing myself over this particular goal of getting a lot of followers very quickly, the focus on accomplishment. But when I do focus on me and these intentional ways that I like to spend my time, the way that my community grows is very rich, very deep, and very authentic. And I'm building my community one deep relationship at a time. And that's the kind of community that I want, a community of quality rather than a community of quantity. And I would love to have both. I would love for these YouTube videos to have millions of views. I would love to have that in addition to these deep in-person relationships. But I know that where I'm at in life now, with the goals that I have and the priorities that I have, it's going to be a little bit more focused on those organic in-person relationships than the time spent working on thousands of digital ones. And to clarify, no hate on pursuing that other path of spending a lot of time working on content. I think that's really valuable and that really pays off for a bunch of people. But I know what that would require for me, and that's not a sacrifice that I'm currently willing to make. So maybe later, hopefully soon, I will have enough time to spend on in-person organic relationships and social media followers. That'd be great if I could do both. That would be great if I could do both and feel really good about it. That would be great if I could have both and not sacrifice my well-being and my authenticity along the way. And I know that a lot of you relate to that because you don't want to spend a lot of time on your phone. It feels really inauthentic for you to have to pursue engagement on your social media content that pulls away from your authenticity and who you feel that you really are as a musician. And I think it really requires this cost-benefit analysis of working towards your goals. And if you don't have that, you can burn out on your goals, or you can fall out of love with doing the art that you wanted to do in the first place. I've seen so many people just quit altogether or have their mental health completely fall apart because of the stresses of what they feel like they have to do and how they have to show up in order to be successful. And maybe that's coming from prioritizing the goal over the experience. It can seem counterintuitive to say that if you focus on your needs and your well-being, that it's going to be productive, that it's going to be good for you in the long run to focus on that. And I'm sure that I'm going to release a lot more videos on this because I think this topic is very important and affects a lot of us in a lot of different ways. But ultimately, when you look at the way that your goals are impacting your well-being, consider if it's worth it. And that's why I encourage you to ask these questions for yourself. What is your goal? What are your priorities? And what are you willing to sacrifice? Maybe there's a better path for you that feels better in pursuing your goals. Maybe it's okay to take your time. Maybe it's worth spending time figuring out how you can accomplish your goals authentically versus how people on the internet say that you should accomplish them. There's so many possibilities out there. You don't have to do things one way that feels bad. And I just want you all to know that. There is the possibility of a path towards your goals that feels good, that you love, and that leads towards the things that you want to accomplish. And ultimately, that's what I'm here to help us all find. I'm not saying that I know the way towards your goals. I don't. Your path is so different from mine. Everyone's path is different from everybody. But that's why we have these conversations, so that I can share what I've learned on my path, and then you can share what you've learned on yours, or you can share what you're struggling with on yours, and then other people can come out and say, oh, hey, maybe try this, maybe try this, so that we're all here supporting each other. Hit the table because I felt so passionately about that. And just have that patience. I don't think rushing into any accomplishment and prioritizing that sense of accomplishment is worth sacrificing yourself and your relationship to yourself, your relationship to your life, your relationship to others. I don't think any accomplishment is worth that. And if you disagree, great, let me know. I want to know why. So on that note, I am gonna get back out there and enjoy some more life. I am planning on releasing another video in May. So if you are interested in hearing that update, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell down below. And if you need more content about creative growth in the meantime, like I said, season 2 of the POW podcast is now available anywhere you listen to podcasts, so go check that out. Feel free to hit me up on social media, have a discussion, let me know how your creative path is going for you. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.
You ever see a man in a dress before carrying a thing?